An autumn wind slides across the vast uplands of Mongolia as a fleeting fall transitions into yet another frigid winter. Devoid of freeways, fences, and rest stops, remote valleys carved into a countryside sculpted by rivers create a backdrop reminiscent of the American West. Wind-blown prayer flags hang from a shrine towering above, while a man on horseback beckons a ferry across river with his horse. And the day ends seated in a local's home, dining on fresh sheeptail and drinking fermented mare's milk, telling stories about the day on the river, chasing the world's largest salmonid, the Taimen. Roughly the size of Alaska, Mongolia is the least densely populated country on the planet. Outside of the capital, Ulaanbaatar, major cities don't exist. Typical towns look something like this: Main Street, grocery store, butcher shop, and fishing guides excited to find cold beer after a long day on the water. The quickest transportation is efficient. Just don't crush a month's worth of eggs while taking your seat or a herd upon landing. But it's not quite as authentic as the 10-hour, 150-mile car rides, where the only other traffic are nomads mounted on horseback. If you're wondering why anyone in their right mind would put in this much effort, travel this far just to catch a fish, well, here's the quick explanation.
I've been guiding 9 years. Every day, every single day, I'm still learning how to guide for the Taimen fish. We are using the dry flies. The big fish, when they take in that dry fly, it's just unbelievable.
Since the mid-90s, anglers have been traveling to the far side of the globe to watch what is essentially the largest trout crush a skated dry fly. I was a kid when many of the first images from Mongolia started to emerge in fishing magazines, and like many anglers, I found images from Mongolia mind-blowing. Some of the most inspiring images came from a group of brothers, some of the earliest pioneers of fly fishing in Mongolia.
I was the angler in that picture. So basically in 1996, I graduated from law school. Days later, got on a plane to Mongolia, met by a guy named Dort Scherdenwind, we call him Pooji, who runs Hoodsko Travel. And he and my brother Jeff, who'd been over there for 5 weeks trying to find places to take fishermen commercially over Mongolia. Drove out to the Egg River and we got there and Pooji stopped, opened up the back of his Jeep, grabbed a rifle, started to shoot prairie dogs. Then they proceeded to take those prairie dogs, put them on big treble hooks, and they started to catch taimen. They were pretty skeptical of the techniques that we were brought. You can catch these fish on a fly that's this big, and they just kind of didn't think that was going to happen. But I walked out, and literally on my third cast, I had this strike. When it struck, we knew it was big, but then it jumped, and it seemed impossibly big.
Like so many distant and expensive fishing destinations, Mongolia always felt like an unattainable childhood fantasy. But after nearly 2 decades of dreaming, my invitation materialized by luck of the draw.
Good evening, and welcome to Fly Fishing Mystery Theater.
My friendship with international fly fishing guide Charlie Kahn started when I literally drew his name out of a hat as part of our filming crew at a Sims video competition.
I like onion rings, Pop-Tarts, jazz recorder, and fly fishing.
It's refreshing to see that one of the funniest and lighthearted people on the planet is also a leading Taimen conservationist.
3, 2, 1, check, cheeseburger. 16 years ago, I was given the opportunity to guide and explore in a country that I knew very little about. I'm pretty sure I could have found Mongolia on a map, but that's about all I really knew about it. Maybe I was too young and dumb to really have any expectations. I was happy to have the opportunity, and I just wanted to represent myself well and do a good job and take care of clients and be a good guide. There was a lot of pressure because I was working with a black belt group of fishing guides. It was kind of intimidating. I was the only one who hadn't really done any international guiding. The fact that it was a new fishery was challenging. No one really had it dialed in. We were figuring it out daily. Kind of like a brotherhood. The guides, the clients, the long-term clients that come every year, there was something that kind of took us all over, you know? We were kind of obsessed. People say that the tug is the drug, but you know, for me, when you see the biggest trout in the world explode on a skated fly, that's as high as I can get. You know, I'll be riding the chairlift at Bridger Bowl on a 2-foot powder day, and I'll be thinking about Taimen fishing. The funny thing that I've seen is the effect that Taimen fishing has on adults. Turns the guides into little kids, you know? Just watch them talk about it.
Let's see, first you've got the fly moving across. It's like kapoo, 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 kapoo.
Up there like a big GT in the Indian Ocean. Once you get them hot and bothered, they're not going to stop.
I refer to it as a Huchosaurus rex. It's just an ancient fish. It's just awesome.
The strike is nothing short of amazing.
It's out of the water, cartwheeling in the air with it kind of pivoting on its face, like over the fly.
I mean, if you see a fish coming out of the water 40 inches up, there's nothing that you can see that's better than that.
When you get that encounter with a giant taimen, it changes your life as an angler. It really does. It's a life-changing experience.
The thing that I really love about it is the appreciation that you get out of catching a taimen. It's not easy at all. It's a numbers game, so you're looking at probably 25 to 40 fish per square kilometer. You're going to be doing a lot of casting. You're covering a lot of water every day, and what I've always told my clients is that that moment that you think it's not going to happen, you need to keep pushing through, because it can just be that one stretch of water and you can get that fish of a lifetime.
I'm Baira. People calling around here big fish Baira. I'm guiding mostly is for Taimen. Taimen is the biggest salmonid. Taimen is very aggressive, eating small fish, mice, squirrel, small ducklings. That is we call it's river wolf. On the surface, dry fly fishing, Taimen, it's more fun.
That's the most epic place on the planet. When you've got such an ultimate predator in the river and you fish for something that just wants to kill stuff, I mean, with a combination of beautiful surroundings and awesome people, I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Looking back on my almost 2 decades in Mongolia now, I've changed a lot over the years. You know, it's had a real effect on me guiding in Mongolia. Went from like a fish bum, fish guide dude, got to catch fish, a bunch of fish, and really focused on the fishing. You know, the shift occurred probably 5 or 6 years ago where, you know, when I used to lay in bed and think about how I could catch more big fish or more big taimen, now I lay in bed and I think more about how we can protect more big taimen in the environment they live in. And that's not unique just to me, you know, I think it affects everybody in that way, anyone who's guided there or fished there often.
You know, the Mongolians, they really do have, and it sounds kind of hokey to say, but they have a pretty spiritual connection to the fish. I think that one of the neatest things about Mongolia is that I do believe if everybody left today, the Mongolians and the catch and release is firmly enough established, and the folks that are pushing that effort, I think you could go back in 30 years and they'll still be timing.
The people in Mongolia need to be given the lion's share of credit. They're passionate about fly fishing. You know, they're starting clubs. They're lobbying for law changes. They're teaching the kids. What a better group of people to teach than the kids?
Many young people and also many people come into fly fishing. Everybody knows is now we need to catch and release and protect taimen.
Being from South Africa or Africa, you see a lot of fisheries that are not managed very well, and it's so amazing to come to a fishery where you feel like people are trying to look after the fish and really putting lots of effort. The cool thing is when we spend time on the river, it becomes your home, and you kind of want to protect your home. When you're in Mongolia, you feel the passion and you feel how they want to protect their fisheries, which is just amazing to me. It's really nice to see that.
So the newly formed Taimen Conservation Alliance is, I think, going to be a real positive force in the future of Taimen conservation. It's an association of Mongolian-based outfitters, American outfitters and agents, and NGOs. Yeah, I think it's the future of conservation in Mongolia.
And action.
Day 29 in Mongolia. Exploring. Going places no one's ever been before. Sleeping on the dirt. I'm eating berries and twigs in the mountains, whatever I can find, just to find the greatest Taimen river in the world.
Okay, Charlie, cut. It's awesome, buddy.
Thanks, man. Oh, God. That tent, jeepers, short.
Charlie, what's that eating?
Barla, Hello. Okay, this way. Can you handle that? Morning, Daima. Oh, thanks. A little coffee. Love it. Like your shirt.
Sauna's ready, Charlie.
Oh,
Breakfast
good.
will be ready in
I
20
need a
minutes.
sauna. I need a sauna. Thank you, Eric. We'll see you in a little bit.
What's this thing for?
Oh, you're doing good, buddy.
Hardcore.